Was there one statistical category that you emphasized more than all the others?
Well, I think much to the chagrin of people who despise the stat, passer rating. Passer rating is it's a statistic that people that people really, really hate because it's hard to understand, or they think it's hard to understand. That's really just an absolutely beautiful statistic when you sort of get your head around it. Passer rating, in reality, it's all it is a way of looking at some fairly simple measurables: attempts, completions, touchdowns, interceptions, and yardage. And the formula is complicated, but you don't need to know the formula. I mean, unless you're a statistician or you're some nut like me who wants to crunch the passer rating numbers of every quarterback at the end of every game. And even then, there's an abundance of calculators that you can find online for passer rating. What's important, I think, for people to understand about passer rating is that it was a statistic that was created in 1971, and it was created to be able to compare passers over a season. So the goal was to be able to say at the end of every season that this was the most successful passer in the league. Not the most successful quarterback, the most successful passer, which these days really translates to the most successful quarterback, but it's not quite the same thing. And the formula got twisted up because what the people who created it wanted to do was have a stat that would come out at 100 if you were excellent. It comes out at 158.3 if you're perfect, right? Or 153.8, sorry. And that's the number that people seize on and say, well, that's nuts. Why is that? Because nobody has a perfect season in the NFL. We start applying it to games, and sometimes you get perfect. Tom Brady's had 2 perfect games in his career. Peyton Manning has had 4, and that's the most ever. It's supposed to be applied to seasons. It's supposed to be applied to careers, and so you'd shoot for a number that's about 100. And if you're at 100, you've done something really special, or these days done something really good. You need to be upwards of 120 nowadays to be really special. But in 1971, 100 was really phenomenal. And so, to me, what's important for people to know about that passer rating statistic is that if you're in the 90s, it's looking pretty good. If you're 100 to 120, wow. 120 to 140, you've probably, the chances that you lost that game pretty slim, and 140 up, and you just had a performance for the ages. And because it takes those really key measurables into consideration, the touchdowns, the completions, and the interceptions, it's really, to my mind, the most complete stat for comparing passers, not only from game to game and season to season and person to person, but across eras.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.